Well, it's that time once again. We go out to the other coast of the United States of America, and with my voice being trashed here, let's talk to Michael Snyder. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Alex. Yeah, you've got what's going around, and I've got the tail end of it. I hope we both get well quickly. In the meantime, on to the movies. Some Oscar bait opens wide this weekend, specifically if Beale Street Could Talk, which is a 70s era family drama from Barry Moonlight Jenkins, adapted from a James Baldwin novel. We already covered that. And also opening is the Ruth Bader Ginsburg docudrama On the Basis of Sex, which is about the crucial discrimination case that launched her career. As for new movies, it's still the January doldrums, but the cupboard isn't entirely bare. They didn't bother showing critics Replicas, which is a new Keanu Reeves, I guess it's a clone-oriented sci-fi drama, but we did see the following. Let's start with The Upside, which really doesn't have much of one. This unnecessary remake of a hit 2011 French dramedy called The Intouchables is reason enough to keep the continually annoying Kevin Hart away from the Oscars in any capacity. Since it's an American version of a previous movie, it's based on that movie, which was purportedly inspired by the true story of a wealthy businessman who has it all, is paralyzed by an accident, sinks into like bitterness and depression, and only re-embraces the joys of life when an unlikely caretaker comes into his life. And in the case of this new English language version, a divorced deadbeat dad and ex-con played by Hart is the new caretaker. The odd thing here is that the rich guy is played by the great award-winning actor Bryan Cranston, and his business advisor is played by Nicole Kidman, who is so impressive in the recent and decent film noir Destroyer. But neither of them can do much with this is a tepid, clumsily manipulative script that tries to be warm and cute and amusing, but is devoid of funny when it goes for comedy. And it's made worse by Hart's heavy hand. Bogus sentiment, like stumbling slapstick, empty stabs at emotion. In this case, at least, the French did it better. Moving on, happily. And strangely, this is considerably better than I expected, and nothing you'd think I'd like. A Dog's Way Home is a family movie that's kind of done right. In fact, it's a tale of a dog that travels 400 miles in search of her owner, and has an adorable lead canine, fun and exciting animal action, some pleasing human performers, including Ashley Judd and Edward James Olmos, beautiful outdoor photography, and kind of an earnest kindness. At times, it's also as goofy as a dog chasing a squirrel, but you got to expect that. The script is in large stretches a narration, and it's narrated by Bryce Dallas Howard, who voices the inner thoughts and the feelings of Bella the dog, and it works. At some points, as Bella makes her way through the wilderness of Colorado and New Mexico on her odyssey, it was kind of like a canine Reese Witherspoon hiking in the movie Wild, especially with Howard's voice kind of expressing the doggy's anxiety on the soundtrack. And by the way, there's a slim George Lucas connection to this movie. The director of A Dog's Way Home is Charles Martin Smith, who first broke into film as the kind of proto-nerd in Lucas's American Graffiti. He does a good job here with a script adapted from W. Bruce Cameron's novel by Cameron and Catherine Michon. Cameron has made a tidy living writing a few dog-oriented books like this one and A Dog's Purpose, which was made into a more treacly movie than A Dog's Way Home. And I found myself liking this despite the occasional gush and silliness. Although, let's be fair, I admired The Incredible Journey, a very similar movie, much, much more, a similar and better film. Okay, now for a movie that I can get behind with only one reservation. It may not be everyone's cup of tea. Pledge is a well-conceived, well-made horror movie about that old cliche, endangered college kids. But it goes in a different direction than what you might expect from a horror movie with college kids. There's nothing supernatural about it, unless you think of, I don't know, the Skull and Bones Society as otherworldly. And actually what goes down in Pledge has a certain sense of reality in these coarse times. 3 freshman nerds are checking out the various frats during rush week at their new school, but they are humiliated wherever they show up to offer themselves as pledges until they come to a meet and greet with babes and booze and drugs at a fancy off-campus social club. Could these misfits have found a group that will embrace them despite their socially awkward behavior? Watch Pledge and find out. It's got no names in the cast, none in front or behind the camera. It was made for very little money, but it never seems like a cheapie. The direction is sharp, the dialogue rings, the tension is ongoing, and the cast is just right in all cases. There are cool twists and bursts of violence that never enter the realm of schlock or fantasy, and I think it'll be a blast to watch on your home screen. It was directed by Daniel Robbins and written by Zach Weiner, who plays one of the nerds in the film. I expect that we're going to be hearing more from these guys. And finally, let's wrap up with Ashes in the Snow, which is sort of sensitive, solid, and sad. It's one of those never forget World War II anti-fascism dramas, only this one is about the wrongs visited against the innocent Eastern Europeans who were rounded up by Stalin's forces and sent to Siberian labor camps while the Allies fought the Nazis in Western Europe. It has the benefit of the fine young British actress Belle Powley as a sweet, artistically talented 16-year-old Lithuanian girl who's deported along with her family when the Russians invade their country. Powley is so good as the star of Diary of a Teenage Girl, and she was good as Princess Margaret in A Royal Night Out, and she's very, very good here. She's kind of tremulous, kind of determined to survive, thoroughly convincing as a teenager, despite now being in her mid-20s. Come on, it's acting. This is bleak in tone and theme and setting. It's a very rough ride that drags here and there, but these stories have to continue to be seen and heard as kind of a hedge against the rise of right-wing loonies across the globe. Call it a big screen PSA. Anyway, that's about it. It is the doldrums, buddy. You see anything, watching anything on the tube or at the big screen?
Not really. We went back and watched a movie we missed a while back, Into the Woods, which was a Stephen Sondheim musical with Meryl Streep in it and a whole bunch of other people. And if you get a chance, it's on Stars. Watch it. How the Academy missed this picture, I have no idea. It is just terrific.
And for those who don't remember, I guess the woodcutter or the baker and his wife are played by James Corden and Emily Blunt. How's that for a little cast?
Well, James Corden really is the star of the film, and he's terrific. But we knew that, from his work in England. So anyway, it's a very good movie. I suggest people watch it. And also, I watched the documentary Surviving R. Kelly, which was really quite good, believe it or not, and has caused a lot of consternation around the country. But anyway, that's
winner for lifetime. Anyway, that is it. You can catch me on Twitter at Culture Blast.
Did you say Culture Blast?
Culture Blaster.
Yeah, Culture Blast. And thank you, Michael. And that's Michael's. I don't know what happened to him, but anyway, that's Michael Snyder, and we'll be seeing him again next week. By the way, there's more GABNet coming right up, and maybe my voice will get better. Who knows? Oh, boy.